My name is Reginald McLaughlin, aka Reggio the Hoofer McLaughlin. All right, that's my tap name that I've been using ever since I started tapping, coming up out of the streets of Chicago.
How did you get started?
I got started, my older sisters were taking a dance class at a community center, and my mother used to let us go there after school. And they have a number of these, we call them like a field house, but it's a park district community center, and they offer different after school activities. So heard them like tic tac clackety clackety and all of that. And I'm like, man, what's that sound? And I saw them, taking class, and they pretty much offered a class to girls because the girls were the only one were doing it, and they had a divider, and the boys would be on the other side in like a gymnasium. So I was very young, maybe 5 years old, or 6. So sometimes my mother would make my brothers take me with them, and I'd be sitting there and I'd hear that sound. So I got up and peeped over on the other side of the curtains, and wow, I just loved that clickety clack rhythm. And then at the end of the season, they put on a big performance, and everybody would invite their friends and family to come see what they learn and achieve from the after school activities at the community center. And when I saw tap and the dancing, the rhythm, the sound, I just fell in love with it, like at first sight, and that stuck with me for the rest of my life. And that's how it began. But I didn't start learning till much later on because I was too young to pursue it on my own, and it kind of got away from me in a physical way, but in a spiritual, heartfelt way, it never left.
What was it specifically about tap that really drew you?
I like the movement of it, and when I started doing it, I liked how it made me feel inside. It was like a message. I mean, it was like, I don't know, it just made me feel really good inside. It was like medicine to me. It was days when I this was kind of down and out, I could just go tapping and make me put on that happy face again. When I started doing it in public, I had the same results on people, and then in the end, it really turned out to be a guardian angel to me.
How so?
Because it kind of helped to get me out of a very dangerous neighborhood of growing up in Chicago, and it's like sports or entertainment. It kind of helps you get up out of there, and so I started traveling very young as a performer in my teens, so it kind of got me out of a very rough environment, and but then not only that, it gave me the opportunity to travel pretty much halfway around the world. I've been to so many countries from my art form, and because dance is known to be a universal language, that made it even much better because you didn't have to worry about a lot of communicating with your art form if you were to do something that was more verbal and you needed somebody constantly interpreting everywhere you go. But when you dance, everybody feels that no matter where you at, they feel the beat, they feel the rhythm, they feel the passion from you. So that was it, and then I like the fact of when I danced with my dance partner for 16 years, who was like a mentor to me. I danced with him till he was 92 years old, so it really let me know what a great art form. It doesn't discriminate against age or your size or anything like that. To my recollection, in ballet or something, after you get about 27, 28, it's almost like, all right, you out of here, next. Let's go get these 15, 16-year-old girls to train. You know, but tap is not like that. I still know people in their 90s that still dance and hit a little lick here and there. So, man, I knew, gosh, this was the right choice.
Who was your mentor?
Who was what?
Your mentor?
His name was Ernest Brownie Brown. I went to school with his granddaughter, and she was the one that introduced me to him when I told her that I was studying to be a tap dancer. And she mentioned, oh, my grandfather is a tap dancer. Next time you come in town, I introduce you to him. And she did. And then later on, he came here to retire. And she mentioned that to me, and yeah, maybe you should go see him. So I would go over and talk to him about tap, and he would give me that first-hand information because he, had been dancing like in the early 20s, so he did the vaudeville. He danced in blackface and a lot of things like that, and he was around doing that development of tap as it's revolving and into a more admirable art form. So he's passing down a lot of valuable information to me. But I just go over to the house and he would show me videos and we talk about the videos. So pretty soon I was just like, hey man, show me a step, show me how that go. And it snowballed into a partnership. We did one project and for a theater company, and they put it in the newspaper and people read in the paper, and then we got a call to do this. Then after that, would y'all do that? And it just snowballed, and he had really came to Chicago to retire, but before you know it, he was back out of retirement with me, and I started working with him when he was, him teaching me when he was in his late 70s. Man, pretty soon we was traveling all over the states, New York, St. Louis, Oklahoma, doing workshops and performing, and before you know it, he was right back out there again, lived a second life or a third life with this, So that was just like, wow, how sweet it is. So now, he passed away maybe a few years or so ago, so I carry on that legacy that he passed to me, and and I do a lot of the old routines that he taught me from, back in the day. And I really love working with him because as a vaudeville performer, they did more than just dance. They sing, they dance, they tell jokes. They did it all, so it wasn't just, you just get up there and dance and then you go off. So that kind of gave me an edge on stage, But some of the other dancers would just dance and walk off, I talk to the people and make acquaintance,
How do you see the art form changing?
Well, the art form, it's almost like not only do you do the tradition way of the dancing, but everybody also try to add on to it too. So you're just not stuck in one dimension with it. So there's a number of tap dance festivals that we give in the major cities like Chicago, New York has a couple, St. Louis, Oklahoma, and we have workshops where you have dancers passing on the traditional dances from times go by, but then also, with the contemporary music of hip hop and all that, you're coming up with that younger generation who's kind of taking the tradition and modernizing it with hip hop. So the beats are changing to go along with hip hop music and, et cetera, et cetera. Quote. So yeah, so it does change because you want to contribute to it too, and you just find them just doing all kind of amazing things on the tap shoes and more tricks and more fancy moves and wow, that's using that imagination to do whatever, you know, that you can do.
What are some of your favorite dances to perform?
What are some of my favorite dance routines that I like to perform?
Yeah.
Uh, there's one we do called Doing the New Low Down. It's by Bill Robinson. Bill Robinson was the African American gentleman that you see dancing with Shirley Temple in the 30s there and taught her to dance. So he was in a number of movies from that period. So there's one called Doing the New Low Down that we get passed down from generation to generation of dancing. I really like that. My partner Brownie was one of the original co-founder members of a elite tap ensemble called the Copacetics, and they did a chair dance. I love the chair dance. That just like wow. So the whole dance is done sitting in the chair, and it's just amazing dance. And there's and him and his partner, they had a vaudeville piece called Old Man Time, and it's a cane dance, and they bent over in that. So it's just a number of dances. Then there's Buster. He had a really fast, very intricate footwork dance routine called Laura. I like them all. I'm a very traditional dancer, and I kind of like that because it continues to preserve a history that is just like a treasure. Mention me as a preservationist, a historian, and then your contribution of to tap, throughout the years. But not only do that, also teach kids on up to adult. So I'm kind of passing on what I learned to another generation and setting up platforms when I produce shows, here at Old Town School of Folk Music where we at, to give the kids a platform to show them what they learn, everybody what they learn. So that's part of it too, and then you want to keep the dance going and make it admirable, even though people could kind of stereotype it, but when you see us out there doing it now, it's definitely not stereotype. It's an art form, it's a beautiful art form,
Yeah. So there are different tap traditions, all over the world even. And so what do you think is distinct about tap, in the States and in Chicago specifically?
The different styles of tap, of like the way I would dance, the way you dance here in Chicago, the way they would dance in New York and other cities like that. Is that what you're trying to say? They say it's all good, and I think, yes, there are different styles. You have like more of a Hoofer rhythm tap, which is all about rhythm of the feet, and it's not much about your upper body at all. Your feet are going so fast, you don't have no time to worry about the upper body, and you just have people mesmerized by looking at your feet, and all the fast movements that you're doing with it, the intricate, complicated steps, Then you will have a Broadway style of tap where the footwork goes along with arm movement and this and that, and swinging all over, and little maxi four stuff, goes with the arms. And then back in the day, you had a group like the Nicholas Brothers, you had the Four Step Brothers, these guys doing what we would call acrobatic tap, where they're doing flips and splits also within the dance. And so, yeah, you have a different variety of styles, So I just say it's all good, when I come in to teach a workshop, sure, sometimes there's steps that might have 5 different names for the same step, depending on the teacher or the region and who they learn from, and things like that. And also when you go to Europe, like tip tap. When I go to Spain, they call it claqué, You know what I mean? So you have different names for it in different countries, you know. But it is an American art form that was derived here in America, you know. So, and most of the other countries from on the continent, they were supposed to do it when Hollywood put it in the movies with people like Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, and that, and then Nicholas Brothers. They start seeing these movies, so musicals, you know, like wow, you know, amazing, you know.
Yeah, great. So, what do you notice any trends in your teaching of what students are they interested in something specific about tap, or is everybody just come to it because they have that same sort of attraction? Or?
Yeah, so a lot of times you can always tell when there's a show being seen out, like a Broadway show, like say 42nd Street. Then there was Noise and the Funk, you know. You had Sophisticated Lady with Gregory Hines and these guys. So when there's a show out, Tap Dogs, or you know, River Dance, when these shows come out, people go see these shows and they like, oh, they mesmerized by the rhythm of the footwork. Then you look up, you know, everybody wants to take classes, and you know, a lot of times I might ask each individual like what made them want to take tap, and you get a variety of answers. Oh man, I saw Billy Elliot or something. I saw Tap Dog, man, you know, and it was just like, oh God, I want to do that. Some seen it from movies, you know, with Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly in these movies, you know, that motivate them. Some of them just say, hey, I always wanted to do this. Now I just have time to try it. So yeah, it's a variety of reasons, you know. But you, as a teacher, you have to absorb all this information, and then you kind of determine, you know, how you want to approach everybody with the dance style and the movement that, you know, that you think that they will enjoy the most. So you're always trying to find that way of making everybody enjoy their dance experience. Yeah, like that.
Are your students generally younger, or are they?
I got all ages. I got boys like 5 years old. I have a little boy group I teach, you know. I just call them the Rat-a-Tap-Tap bunch or something, you know. I give them nicknames. So I teach them, and then I have older, middleweight, just all age that I would teach, and was good because I learned a variety of styles where I could teach any age from beginning to master classes, you know. Some dancers get kind of limited to what level they can teach, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. But, you know, I just do it all, you know, any age. Take a lot of patience, you know, a lot of patience. So it's also a gifted thing you have to have. I started off as a performer. I didn't really care to teach. I just wanted to perform. I just came right out the gate performing. But when you have slow periods where you weren't getting much work to perform, then teaching was a way to fill in the gap. And after I started teaching and seeing the advantage that it gives you, breaking down steps, it started enabling me to see what it, how to put combination stuff together, to choreograph, and you just start taking on another a dimension of knowledge about your art form. So that was something that, you know, you look up, one thing lead to another, and then it leads to another, and so on and so forth and so on, you know.
Yeah. Do you think that hip-hop is going to change the art form?
It doesn't change. All of it just enhances, you know, because you got the dancers dancing to hip-hop music, some of them dancing with hip-hop artists, you know what I mean, and you just, you know, have that flexibility to, you know, the beat goes on, dance with it. So no, it doesn't change, it enhances it, you know. And actually that's what attracts a lot of younger dancers also when they see you dancing with hip hop music. It's like, oh, okay, there we go. Now I could dig that, you know.